Most recently, Justin published a book titled Confessions of an Inner City Teacher, a story about his transition into teaching to give a real view on what it takes to be successful. It takes a village to raise a child, which is why Justin is committed to prepare that village to bring up a new generation of leaders. Please join me in welcoming Justin Campbell.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Can we give it up for them? They did an amazing job coming up here speaking. I have to say, I was sitting there, and I think Chinchilla might be the best last name I've ever heard. I think we can all agree on that. But as they stated, my name is Justin Campbell, and I, along with my wife, she's actually back there. She'll be doing one of the roundtables. Oh, she's over there. We founded the Urban Connection Project, where we believe in raising the odds of success in inner city students. So we actually work specifically with inner city schools to help prepare the teachers to be better prepared in the areas of just like cultural competency, classroom management, et cetera. And we wanted to do that so that we can make sure that they have the support necessary to get the students to the next level. Because we don't know how many of those students are going to be our future politicians, lawmakers, et cetera. And we want to make sure that we're not leaving them behind as we continue to progress forward. So before I get started, I get bored when I sit in crowds and just hear somebody talk for a long time. So I have something I want you all to say. When I say, how do y'all feel? I want you to say, fired up. All right? So how do y'all feel? Fired up. Okay. I see you guys are going to need a little coaching and pushing on that. Now, how can you say fired up so quietly, fired up? That makes no sense, guys. All right, so we want to make sure that we have so much passion and energy in it that it's almost like you just hit the game-winning shot at a sporting event, or your team just made it to the championship. I want you to say fired up like you mean it. How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel? And you need to be fired up because you specifically have not sat there and said that there's an issue, but you've also said, I want to be a part of that community that finds a solution to that issue. Literacy is an issue. It's something that our communities have been struggling with for a long time, and for you, especially at your age, to decide that you need to make a difference is so commendable. You are the specific reason that there will be a kid whose pathway led to prison, but now it's going to lead to success. Instead of leading to prison, it's going to lead to them being so successful that maybe they help their family get out of poverty. Maybe they help their community change around. Maybe they become the president of the United States, and it all happened because you made a decision to not just let the narrative be that this is an issue, but you want to make something of it. So I want to give you guys a statistic that I'm going to be speaking from, and it's basically America has 4.4% of the world's population. How many of you guys knew that? 4.4%. However, it houses 22% of the world's population of prisoners. How many of you guys knew that? A few people out there. And the reason why this prison number is so high, there are many different reasons, but one of the biggest things is literacy. So there's a term, it's called functionally illiterate, which basically means you do not have the writing or reading skills necessary to cope with getting a job or getting out of high school. And a lot of times what people will do is, even though they didn't get out of high school or out of college, that doesn't mean they still don't have these needs, right? It doesn't mean they still don't need a job or a well-paying job or something that they can get money from. And if they can't get jobs, they can't find ways to make money, then they turn to crime. They turn to things that may get them to that next level. And then somehow, some way they get caught, may end up in prison. Now, at your tables, I want you to discuss what percent of the prisoners do you think are functionally illiterate? The prisoners in America. What percent do you think the prisoners in America are functionally illiterate? I want the person at the table with the longest hair. I don't care if you bought it or if it's natural. If you have the longest hair, I want you to start talking. You guys can go around. What percent do you think of prisoners are functionally illiterate? Take about 10 more seconds. Just talk about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, back up here, back up here. Just in the interest of time, just shout out a number. What'd you guys come up with? 45. I heard 60. Who said 60? You guys Googled it, didn't you? You did? Oh, okay. You guys are good. They are spot on. 60%. 60%. So I want you guys to think about that. There are many reasons why the prison system has the population that it has, but one of them is that 60% of the inmates are functionally illiterate. And if you go down into the juvenile system, it's even higher than that. It's 85%. 85%. Now, to be in a juvenile system, you have to be considered a minor. So obviously, there are a lot of your peers, functionally illiterate, end up in the system like that. All right, so one thing that I want to also talk about is the book that I wrote. It's called Confessions of an Inner City Teacher. Do you see this cameraman back there? That is Ron Roberts. Say hi, Ron. So Ron is, he's actually CEO of Shoot Productions, amazing company. But right next to him is a table, and it has books that I'm actually going to have for sale. If you come back there, then we work out some deals and things. We're going to have like a really good price for you guys when you're coming back there. But it's basically just also something that I noticed was an issue and did something to change it. So when you begin teaching or begin educating, you rarely have an opportunity to speak with the person who was there before you. And if you spoke with that person, they would probably tell you some of the successes they had, some of the failures that they had, and they would caution you on things that you've done. So when you started, you're starting from the knowledge that they've given you and moving up instead of starting from ground zero. A lot of times we see people repeat the same mistakes that may be made. And that's where the book comes into play. So it's just a story about my transition into teaching inner city students in the Title I school. I share the things I did well. I share the things that I completely jumped off the cliff and fell flat on my face on. It's for you to just see that, you know, this may not have worked in that area. I can navigate my way around it, but also characters I met along the way. So if you're interested in that, I would want you to come back to that table. Even if you're not interested in the book, at your age, the fact that you're here trying to do something for literacy, I know we're going to have so many people in this room who make it so far. I just want to shake your hand. So if you get a chance to come back there and say hi, then do that. The other thing that I want to do, just in the interest of time, I want to leave you with the poem. Now, this poem is talking specifically about the things that I discussed with the prison and with how functionally illiterate people have a higher odds to get there. So it goes like, institutionalized, ending up in jail or in the juvenile system because of crime and lies. But what really lies behind that wall that they've built up? Nothing but generational curses and cries of this is all you'll ever be, so get used to it and shut up. But see, the mere thought that the past is anything more than a lesson that needs to be overcome, or that issues in our society cannot be overcome, is the beginning of our destruction. And yes, we all know that iron sharpens iron, but there is nothing that sharpens nothing, because see, you ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. So go to school and become nothing, get that job that pays you next to nothing, and know that you came from nothing because I'm nothing. So your past is nothing, your present is nothing, your future is nothing. That's all you'll ever be is nothing. And see, these are the things that some of our students see, but we expect them to stand strong on their 2 feet, to be proud of who they are. But what are they really standing on when all they hear about is defeat? At least that's what they used to hear, until that brave young educator with no fear stood toe-to-toe with intent to steer the student into a direction they can revere, clearing the damage that had been created their entire scholastic career, all for that one shining moment. They walk across the stage, get their high school diploma. And the students think, you know what, I never thought I'd be here. I never knew my future was this bright. I've been lied to my entire life. Literacy was such a struggle. I'm so happy that that young educator came and made it right when they told me I was beautiful. I'm capable. I'm smart, intelligent, and able to be the rose that grew from the concrete. It's funny, because of it, my morale rose. I now see my future as being concrete. All because that brave young educator, I now know I can be who I want to be. I can live life passionately. I can make my dreams a reality, and I don't have to settle for prison or casualties. All because that brave young educator, I now know the truth. And getting a high school diploma is great, but I want to be what I'm destined to be. I want others to know that their name is not engraved in the illiterate stone I thought my name was engraved in. All because that brave young educator, I'm now ready to change the world. So I'm going to ask you guys one more time, how do y'all feel? Fire! How do y'all feel? Fire! I want you to enjoy your conference, but believe me, you made amazing decisions. You are difference makers, world shakers. You are people who are put here and said, I am not content with how the world looks today. I want to make a difference and make sure tomorrow is even better. And I just appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. Please enjoy your Literacy Lives conference, and thank you for having me.